Welcome back. Today we're going to be having a look at fleet compositions, and I've had good suggestions from a few people. One of them is Joe Helland 1635, and you can see his message here, his comment, and he suggested a fleet with a strong mix of cruisers, battleships and titans, and we've got it here. So we've got some destroyers, which are our screening ships. Now, I can only get to 240. There's something I'm missing to get to 250 to get squeeze a few more ships. And if someone knows what it is, I do have, I'll just show what I've got. I've put on Supremacy, so I've got all that. I've got on Galactic Force Projection, so I've got that to give me, and I've got obviously all the tax. And I've also got Distinguished Admiralty in my government. So there seems to be just something I'm missing. I know you can get to 250, I just can't remember how to do it. So if someone can give me a comment on how to do that. Fleet here, this is our fleet composition. So it's quite a good combination here, I must say. Just screening ships firstly are destroyers, using all disruptors. They're going to close in and try and intercept the enemy fleets with picket computers, standard fit out with everything else using the afterburners. This is all suggested by Joe as well. The makeup, he suggested the class types. I'm not sure the exact weapons loadout, but this is the best I could come up with. Is our missile cruisers, carrier computers. These are our carrier cruisers with missiles. So we've got one advanced strike craft. We've got a bunch of whirlwind missiles, mix of flak and point defense in there. We're using artillery combat computers so we can use our missiles and stay in range and keep them firing. So we've got 9 of them. Then we've got our torpedo cruisers with missiles. We're hopefully going to charge in and do some damage with our torpedoes and a standard loadout everywhere else. Then we've got our disruptor cruisers. Hopefully they're going to charge in and get to medium range and hopefully fire, and the medium range should be 30. That should be, or 40 actually, because it's a medium slot, so they should charge in and do a fair bit of damage with that. Then we've got our artillery battleships, which I've been running. I'm using the focused arc emitter. I could change that to tachyon lance because we are using mostly armor, but for the purpose of the video, both fleets have this same design, using the artillery combat computer. And to round it off, we have a Titan, artillery combat computer. The aura is just ship fire rate 5%, and that's equal in both fleets. So that's just the way I did it, just to keep the battle even. And I put a mix of shields and armor on the Titan as well. Everything else is the same. For our opposing fleet, it's similar to our previous battles, but we've just increased the number of battleships, artillery battleships, opposing them. Then we've got our corvettes, just more of them, 88, still running the PD, double disruptors with the swarm combat computer. So we'll see how that runs in this battle against all these type of ships. And then we've got the same Titan as in the other fleet. Now both fleets are evenly matched in terms of fleet capacity or command limit, 240 and 240. And both fleets cost around 51,000 or 52,000 alloys. So that's why I picked these numbers, because those numbers there match these numbers here in terms of alloy cost. So it's as even as I can get in terms of the cost to produce and the technology to produce. It's relatively even. The only difference is you can see a bit more difference in the firepower, and that's mostly because of the corvettes. The corvettes just have a higher rating in firepower when you have larger numbers of them. All right, this should be an interesting battle, this one. I think this is a very strong fleet composition, so interesting to see how it goes against a swarm of smaller ships and battleships, but I'm thinking this fleet's going to win. All right, let's see how this goes. Construction ship got bricked. Alright, let's slow this down so you can really see what's going on. So the corvettes are closing in. The cruisers are going after the battleships there. But look at it. Can they close in on them? The battleships are trying to run. You can see the amount of... They're taking a lot of damage, actually. We've taken a fair bit as well. Alright, let's just pause here. Let's just have a look at the damage that's being dealt. Oh, it's hard to see because of we're the same team. So focused Archimedes dealing the most damage to hull, obviously. Small phase disruptors are doing a fair bit. That'll be the corvettes. Medium phase disruptors, that'll be the cruisers. Devastator torpedoes have done really not much. There's not really much else going to the hull at the moment. Kinetic artillery is also doing a lot of damage. So the artillery battleships are doing well. Torpedoes have done some damage to armor. Then a bit for the missiles. And there's not much to shields because we don't have too many shields. Let's see how this plays out. It's relatively even from what I'm seeing. The combination fleet might be getting it. Let's just check the shields. Armor at higher levels there. The hull. You see the hull here on the battleship fleet. They are getting hammered with their hull damage. Shields and armor not too much in it. They're a little bit lower than this fleet, but their hull points is getting wrecked. And that must be, you can see all these disruptors here firing. And I know we have a lot of corvettes, but they also have a lot of cruisers still. So let's just check the fleets. So we've lost a couple, not too much actually. A couple destroyers, bunch else retreated. Yeah, actual losses not too bad just yet. Their firepower's dropping. And so is this one's pretty even. Yeah, you can see this. They might just have just got the superior hull strength, although it is catching. Yeah, they're getting wiped now. It's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, actually. And no real bugs that I could see as well. Alright. Let's look at the actual losses. I didn't see any really ships not engaging or fighting in that battle. It was hard to tell, but they all seemed to be in this area fighting each other. I think it's just because they had so many targets and the different ship combinations, combat computers, which were forcing the ships into various different ranges. So wherever those corvettes went, they had targets, and wherever the cruisers went with their torpedoes had targets. So it's just a big melee brawl. It's probably what you see in larger battles too, that you'd find that there is more targets to shoot at. So when that bugs out, you might have one fleet here, but it might be bugging out here, but it might have another fleet here that can go and fight. So it's probably why we don't notice it as much when you have multiple fleets as well. Let's look at the actual losses. So this is the corvette fleet. So they lost nearly half their corvettes, nearly half their battleships. The Titan got destroyed as well. Repair this one, 15,000 alloys, 5 destroyers, 1 cruiser, so 7 cruisers, 5 battleships, and they still got their Titan. So yeah, I think this fleet definitely came out the better. I'll just check, let that fleet retreat and see what the actual damage is. Alright, so it was going to cost 15,000 alloys for the fleet that won the battle. But the fleet that lost the battle, it's only nearly 14,000 alloys. So the terms in alloys was less, likely because the corvettes were very effective in doing a lot of damage, and the battleships soaked up some damage as well. And the cruisers overall are quite costly. Let's just look at the ship losses here. 5, 3, 3, 1, so that's 7, and 5 battleships as well. So I guess that's the most of the cost there. So clearly this fleet won the battle, but this fleet was more efficient in alloy and alloy losses, I should say. So for this battle, we've got our same fleet combination fleet here that we had before. We've got our cruisers, all the same cruisers, battleships. I won't go through them all. Nothing's changed from the last battle. Same destroyers, Titan. In our opposing fleet, we've got the same number of battleships and Titans that we had before. Same design, nothing's changed. But what I've done this time is I've replaced the corvettes with destroyers. And this destroyer design is artillery. So it will stay at longer range artillery. It's got a bit of speed to stay at range, and it's also got some flak to shoot down the strike craft and some point defense to try and shoot down missiles and torpedoes. So, and they should hopefully fly around the battleships a bit, because they'll both be artillery range and sort of provide some protection, and also provide long range firepower to try and deal with the enemy ships at longer range. So we'll see how this goes. I do like this destroyer. You can also change this if you want. You could put missiles on here for longer range firepower, or you could try and put disruptors for when the enemy fleet's close in the range. But the enemy fleet's mostly cruisers, so you're not going to do a lot of damage, or not too much damage to the fleet with just 2 disruptors on those destroyers. So probably better to intercept their incoming damage of torpedoes and strike craft and thin them out a bit. So let's see how this battle unfolds. Also, it's always same alloy cost as well, 51,000 alloys each. Let's slow this down so we can actually see what's happening. So this is the bigger combination fleet. So we've got our destroyers there. They're starting to run away, but they're not running away completely. Let's have a look here. Where can we see our destroyers? Where are our destroyers? It's hard to tell where they are. Destroyers, so depends who they're targeting. They all seem to be in here in the middle of the fight, so that's probably not the ideal. Seem to be here in a big group. At least they're intercepting some missiles and torpedoes. 68. That seems to be relatively even so far. We are starting to take a few more losses now. Lost quite a few destroyers, a few battleships. This fleet not as much, although maybe more the fleet's retreated. Once again, you can see the hull damage comparison. This fleet has suffered a lot more hull damage, and that as a consequence, probably a lot more ships have retreated. About even in shields and armour. Everyone seems to be firing and fighting. There doesn't seem anyone off to the side that's not in the battle. Yeah, you can see they've well and truly got the fight on their terms now. So the destroyers, in the end, didn't do too good. Let's just have a look at some of the damage output. What's doing most damage? So focused archimeters from the battleships. Medium phase disruptors, so they're really killing us. Those cruisers with the disruptors and the small disruptors as well, they're really hurting. That's why this fleet had so much less hull. So that's what's really killing us. So the kinetic artillery, it's down the list on doing damage to the actual hull. So we're not burning through that armour. It's doing a lot of damage to the armour, but just not fast enough. It's only 50% efficient there, as you can see. Whereas Devastator torpedoes, 150% efficient. The Peridician beam, where we both got that. Whirlwind missiles, Marauder missiles, and that's mostly damage to the little bit of shields we have or on the Titans. So it's those disruptors, it's the medium and small disruptors that are really hurting us. Okay. So this fleet's dead. We'll speed this up. Then we'll have a look at the losses. Okay, that's a retreated fleet. I think they lost a couple ships before I could get to it and pause it. So our destroyer fleet, I think they just lost a couple more ships than they should have, but yeah, it's probably about 24,000 alloys. They lost nearly 21 destroyers, 8 battleships, and they're tightening. It's similar losses to last battle. Whereas this fleet lost 13,000 worth of alloys. 5 cruisers, 5 battleships, and now the Titans. Similar battles, actually less losses than last time, I believe. Yeah, a little bit less. So this battleship destroyer fleet was not as effective. So I've got to come up with something to counter those cruisers with the disruptors. That's what's killing us in this battle, this fleet combination. Okay, so now we've got a new fleet combination to take on our champion that's won the last 2 battles. let's check out this fleet combination that I've come up with to see how it will perform. So we've got our same Titan, our same battleship design. There's no change in those. But this one, we're trying out another suggestion from another commentator that I had to try out energy torpedoes. So we're going to give it a go. Since most people run with armor, and against the AI, they use a mix of shields and armor. So this ship will most likely be very good against AI as well due to the high damage output, but does a lot more damage to armor, a lot less damage to shields. But we do have our kinetic artillery from the battleships, which will take care of the shields. So this will do a lot of damage to the armor and 75% damage to the hull as well. So we've got 3 lots of those on our cruisers. So it seems to be a bug here. You can see there are 22 cruisers in the fleet and 17 battleships, 1 Titan. But when I go to the fleet manager, it's saying for this fleet, there's only one cruiser, 17 battleships, and you can see there, third luminal fleet. So that's another bug. Yeah, I have noticed when I've been trying to build and reinforce, it seems a bit buggy. Been building extra ships and different things and not putting them together. So, but anyway, that's the design we're going with. We're going with the torpedoes at artillery range, so hopefully they can run around, stay at range. They do have the 3 afterburners to try and use their speed and stay at range, fire the missiles, keep firing those energy torpedoes and damaging those enemy fleets. So hopefully that stops the disruptors from getting close and obliterating us and doing all that damage that we've seen in the first 2 battles, while our battleships should also be staying at range and smashing with their artillery. And we'll see how this goes. So this is a longer range fleet versus the mix of short range and long range. So we'll see how this goes. We don't have any PD or flak defense, so that's the only concern. Let's see how this pans out. Well, geez, it's a lot more sensitive, this zoom in, zoom out lately, since this update actually. So there you go, all the focused arc emitters, the battleships, kinetic artillery is firing from both sides. Here come the energy torpedoes slamming into the enemy fleet. So their ships are still charging us. So what I just wanted to show there is this is what should happen actually. Our ships are not running away because they're focused on fighting their biggest ships. They're targeting the biggest fleet. So that gives the cruisers time to close in the range, and you can see they're already using their disruptors on us. So that seems to be working better. Maybe the fleet combinations work a lot better with the combat computers than what the singular ships do, or even the single double fleet. 2 types of ships in 1 fleet. Still pretty even. We are taking more hull damage once again because of those disruptor cruisers closing in range. You can just see they're constantly firing and battering us. They are losing a lot. I think more of our ships are retreated. So you can see here, the thing with using disruptors, when you're fighting a big war against a big empire that can replace a lot of ships, we're freezing here for a minute. You can see here, 6 battleships. So they've actually suffered, at the moment, 4 battleships have been destroyed compared to not many losses from their other fleets. Whereas we've still got 15 battleships in play, we've only lost 2. We've lost more of our cruisers to the disruptors. So disruptors tend to not kill as many of the bigger ships because they've got more hull points and time to retreat. That's the only problem with disruptors. Whereas the torpedoes do multiplicative damage and they can slam into the enemy fleet. But they've still got quite a lot of ships in play. A lot of retreated. Now it's coming down to who's got the most firepower left and can do the most damage. Pretty close. We've just lost a lot of our cruisers with the torpedoes. Still see those disruptors firing. No, there's no ships off really, not engaging. Those damn disruptors are focusing down the ships. Wow, this is really close. I think the cruisers have got it because they're just focusing down our ships if they're disruptors, but very close. You can't really call this a large victory unless the alloy losses are significant. Let's just speed this last bit up. Geez, it's really down to the last couple ships. See, look, you've got our cruisers and the destroyers, really, versus a handful of battleships. Can't see much else. It looks like it's only 3 battleships with it. Oh, nearly got that one. It's having a hard time getting those destroyers, but the destroyers don't have the firepower now to win, I don't think. Unless they close the range. Now they're going in to chase them. There we go. Now they're going to focus them. Still, they've got to be able to do a lot of damage. There goes one battleship. I think we've only got... Oh, we've got 2 battleships left. That one's nearly... Oh, 3. That one's up there. That one's nearly dead. This is a really close battle. I don't think I've seen a battle this close in a long, long time. Look at this. 9.6, 9.8. Handful of destroyers, disruptor destroyers versus the battleships. And they'll probably get it because the kinetic artillery is just not much good against the destroyers. We're just not doing enough damage. They've still got enough destroyers to whittle down these battleships. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, that's a retreated fleet. So we could see there that the 2 fleets were relatively evenly matched. It just, probably come down a little bit of RNG, really. You get a few more hits on some of those torpedoes early in the fight. It probably would have been a little bit different story. But let's look at the actual losses. The only thing is we can't see there. That's just because they've got their whole fleet back, disengaged fleet back. So the actual losses, we lost 10 battleships. And, well, we can't see how many cruisers are just there. So you can see there we had 22 cruisers. So we've lost 15 cruisers and 10 battleships. That's quite a lot. So that should show, well, it says 156 or 240. So that should show 7. So it's nearly 17,000 alloys. Versus, what? 33,000. Wow. So their losses were significant. 7 destroyers, 7 cruisers there, 5 cruisers, 7, 14, so 19 cruisers, 6 battleships and a Titan. Ouch. Wow. That must have been those energy torpedoes just ripped them. Can we still see the damage from this battle? Yeah, we can. It's a bit to the armour. I can't see any damage here from the energy torpedoes. I'm not sure why that would be. Unless it just reset too earlier. I probably... No, it's 92,000 damage in devastator torpedoes. Not seeing any damage registering from the energy torpedoes. That's strange. In any area. Okay. I'll have to look at that again. I might run the battle again, actually, and just test that again. A faction. Alright. Okay, so that's the end of that battle. Alright, for our final test for this video, we're going to be having a look at a few little changes. For our fleet, which is won every battle so far, there's no changes to the fleet composition or the fleet makeup. We've got the same designs, same destroyers, carrier cruisers, Devastator torp cruisers, missiles, disruptor cruisers, same battleships, and Titan. In our opposing fleet, we've got the same numbers of ships, 22 cruisers, 17 battleships. I've just tweaked the designs a little bit to provide a little bit more close-in weapon support. So for the cruisers, what I did was just took out 2 missile slots and added 2 disruptor slots, just so they can add some close-range firepower onto those cruisers and destroyers that charge forward. And everything else is the same. They're still going to try and stay at range and fire away, but just they'll have some close-in weapons to fire at anything that comes within range and do some damage. The battleships, I've also done something similar. I've taken out 1 artillery slot, made it 2 medium, and given 2 disruptors so that they can fire on smaller ships that come into range that they had a lot of problem with in the late battle. Still got a lot of firepower, so we are losing some kinetic firepower from here, but I do gain 1 extra afterburner, giving this battleship more speed and a better chance to stay away from those cruisers and destroyers. So just a little bit of tweaking there to this battle, and we'll see how it pans out. It's the same numbers. The only thing between these 2 fleets is this fleet with the energy torpedoes costs about 5,000 alloys more, and that's due to the extra cost of the neutron launchers, because they're just more expensive weapons and they do consume more energy as well, naturally. So let's see how this fight pans out. Alright, let's slow this down because it's going to be hard to keep track of all of this. The same artillery, missiles away. There go some neutron launchers. Very similar firepower levels. Well, they did take some big whacks there. Wow, what happened there? Now I want to check the damage to see if we can see the neutron launchers. Okay, so we see some damage there to the hull. Not a lot. Focused arc emitters are doing a lot. Medium phase disruptors again, but we do have some of them in those fleets. The Devastator torps are doing a lot of damage. Neutron launchers are up there as well, so that will be helping. Still, you can see they've got a lot more hull damage to our fleet over here. There's a lot of disruptors firing everywhere. We do seem to be doing better this game. So down to 5 battleships. I've lost 5 battleships already. That must be the energy torps getting through. 6 battleships gone. Not too many cruisers yet, or destroyers. No destroyers actually. You're starting to even up a bit because there's a lot of ships you can see are retreating. Alright, let's just see the damage now. Focused arc emitter, medium disruptors still doing a lot. Kinetic artillery, Devastator torpedoes, kinetic artillery, and neutron launchers are top 3. So what's actually firing here? So the battleships, you can see the battleships are firing disruptors, and they're able to, yeah, they're firing on these destroyers, which was such a problem last time, but they've still got a lot in play. So that could be a problem. 18 destroyers. They seem to be losing a few. They're focusing down the battleships. They're trying to anyway. They keep moving around targeting, but there are a lot of targets around us. See, they're chasing down that battleship. They don't finish it off though. That's the problem. That's a little bit of the combat computers as well. They should be chasing down that target and swarming that one target and killing it. Instead, all these battleships just fire at range and kill them, and now they've got a bit of disruptors to actually carry the day. Let's speed this up. There's only a few destroyers left now. Alright, so that's a retreated fleet. Let's look at the damage between the 2 fleets. So our fleet lost 10 cruisers, 2 battleships, for a total of 14,000 alloys repair. So it did better than last battle, less losses. And this fleet, oof, 35,000, ouch. Lots of cruiser losses, 4, 5, 9, and 7. Wow. So 16 all up, and 7 battleships, and a Titan, and 15 destroyers. So, yeah. So just changing those couple slots to disruptors on this fleet design just changed that battle so much. So I guess that shows having a good balanced fleet is better than just going all out long range weapons, having artillery, torps, missiles, having some designs with some close-in weapon support like this gives you some great flexibility against a really strong mixed fleet like this fleet. This was a very strong design. It was hard. It took some thinking to beat because it's pretty strong across the board, and we could probably tweak this fleet more to counter that fleet, but then it's just going to get into, semantics, just changing it. But just shows a little bit of balance to those long-range weapons can make a huge difference in how you design your fleets. So actually, it's the first time I've actually really done that, to be honest. Put those in there, like mixing up. I normally go all artillery as well to keep it long range, but just to see how effective that was, and with the cruisers as well, just mixing in a couple, that was really interesting to see that. So that's probably something I'm going to keep in mind for future battles. So yeah. All right, send me some comments if you've got some designs in that you want to see in some videos, or you want me to test against various designs or fleet combinations, fleet combination that you use in your games you think is really, really effective and strong. And this design from Joe, who sent me in, he says he uses this type of fleet. He actually gets 10 in there. I think he gets to 250 command limit. And he uses 20 and 10 each cruisers. So a little slightly bigger fleet than this, but it was like for like comparison. And he uses 9,000 Navy capacity of these fleets when he's fighting the crises at 25 times crisis. So that gives you an idea that this fleet combination, this weapons, is also very good against crisis fleets as well. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.